So you you had a friend's cremate, a friend of yours had cremains stolen?
No, just someone on the internet.
Oh, just like a random person?
Yeah, just someone on Facebook.
But they were in Philly.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. They're. I guess that was like overnighted to them.
Well, when you positively absolutely have to have your relatives' cremains overnight.
Yeah, and it was should have been on their porch, and it wasn't on their porch. So they just put a post in a Facebook group like, "Hey, I know this is a long shot, but has anybody found this package that has my mom's cremains in it?" And uh, yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, it went viral, I would assume, because that's the kind of thing that would.
Well, we're making it go viral because it was in a group I'm part of, so I saw it, but
Well,
it got found. So in
that
a
is
flower pot.
in a flower pot. Just the box was sitting in a flower pot,
Yeah, like somebody just dumped it there because they realized it was ashes.
but they didn't dump the ashes. They just left the
No, no,
box
no,
there.
no. Yeah, they just it's okay, but it was probably it's probably one of the most horrific things I feel like a person can go through when they just lose their family's ashes because somebody stole it and you just
Yeah.
don't know if you're ever gonna find it again.
I mean, you could have went to one of those outdoor ashtrays and just poured all of that into it, and they would never know.
But why would you do that? Like,
I don't
why
know.
do
I'm
you?
just I'm just talking worst case scenarios. I'm not saying that's what
Yeah,
should happen,
yeah,
but I'm saying it could.
yeah. Or like they could have just brought it back when they realized because that's really mean,
Hey,
you know?
sorry, I meant to steal goods from you, not your parent or
Yeah, well, I mean,
grandparent.
really though, like if I was a thief person and I was like stealing stuff and I realized that one of the things I stole was like a deceased family member, I would go right back. The address is on the package, go right back and put it back and put a little note that says like I'm really sorry, I did mean to steal things, but not
I'm
things like
sorry I
this.
stole your dead family member, frowny face.
Yeah, yeah, but I brought it back, smiley face. Pay me.
Now I think you owe. I think you owe. I
Hmm,
think
hmm.
you owe. Uh, Wolfie did not like the idea of having to pay for cremains, I guess. Um, but no, that's just so bizarre. But it is like that's one of those funny things where like uh, stealing packages really is, it's a risky endeavor. You
Hmm,
literally don't know what you're gonna get.
hmm.
Not even vaguely, really. I mean, if it says Amazon on it, you have an idea that it's probably, well, that doesn't even narrow it down that much. It's probably just, something fun or something for the household or something for children or an electronic or groceries or
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
narrowing it down. I know that when I buy some bigger items from Amazon that are like for photography or videography or whatever, it'll like have a warning that says like box reveals what is inside,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because it'll land there and it'll be like camera on the side. And it's like gonna want to be home for that. I remember the olden days when when I would worry about not being home to receive a package. 6 years ago when I had a place I had to be most days as opposed to just at my house. In fact, now when friends have like computers and stuff shipped to them, they just ship it to me because they know I'm here. Like it's like, I mean,
Do they?
they ask, but yeah, like they'll
Hmm.
be like, hey, can I just ship it to your house and then come and pick it up from you after work? And I'm like, sure. In fact, when I got my first upgraded iMac,
Hmm.
I had it shipped to where I worked because I was, how am I supposed to sign for it when I'm at work? And
Yeah.
they're not going to leave it there, and I wouldn't want them to. So it's funny though how like when I started my career, buying a camera, and I mean I'm not a rich man by any stretch, but like when I shot like Babysitter Massacre, that camera cost like $600. And I remember waiting with bated breath for that camera to arrive.
Mm.
Now it's like I buy a camera just to take pictures with, and it's kind of mostly a hobby, and it's like $1,600. And I actually got mad because I was here because it said you had to sign for it.
Mhm.
And they didn't. They just left it on my doorstep.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
oh man, I could have went and got lunch and stuff.
Mhm.
So that's you know, it's funny how things change like that.
Yeah.
But no, I remember, yeah, I remember, oh my gosh. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would still be like, I was like watching the tracking with bated breath, but I didn't feel as much of an urgency, I guess. I mean, I've only had one incident where maybe a package was stolen. I mean, it definitely wasn't there after they said it was delivered. That's all I
Mhm.
got.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yesterday, my across the street neighbor knocked on my door because he had 3 packages with my name on them. They just put them in front of his house.
Yeah, I've had
Actually,
that
he handed
happen.
me 4 packages because then I went through them and realized one of them was indeed his. But
He
then,
wanted you to have it.
but no, like it's funnier. So then I hand it to him and I'm like, sorry, this one is yours. And he's like, I only put 3 packages at your door. They must have given you our package,
Oh God.
and then I put my packages on your packages on top of it. So you know, it makes sense. I mean, they're just, my house isn't very perfectly labeled, but
Mhm.
their house is. So I don't understand how you could really mess that up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I've only had that happen once where a package went to just a completely different block, I think.
Oh
It
yeah.
just yeah, and I got it like I swear like 3 weeks later when they finally got around to bringing it over because it was
Yeah.
like very clearly went to someone else's house and I
Well,
even
it's
like had a
not
note like,
their
"Hey, it was
job.
delivered."
It's not their
Yeah.
job to bring it to you.
It was one of those things where it was like I already ordered another one because I thought it was stolen. Thanks, guys. Now I have 2 of these things I don't need.
One year I ordered a DVD set to give for a Christmas present, and it just never came. So I told Amazon, and they were like, "Oh man, we're sorry. We'll send you another one." So they sent me another one, and then a month and a half after I got the new one, the old one showed up.
Oh wow.
I have no idea what. I mean, this was years ago before Amazon delivered their own packages in any
Mm-hmm.
place. I don't know what journey that thing went on, but you know, it made it. It made it.
Wow.
So hey, uh, but yeah, it's funny because like you know, a lot of times if Amazon delivers your packages, they take a picture of it, you know, and send you a picture of it on your doorstep. Or will not send it to you, but you know it's in the delivery file. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
look it up, and
Mm-hmm.
they do that similar. They do that with DoorDash when you do contactless delivery. And I DoorDash way too much, truly way too much. And but they'll take a picture of it in front of your door, or on your stoop or whatever. And my favorite is when they forget that they're supposed to do that, because oftentimes I'll get the text with the picture of where my food is, like after I've already picked up the food, or like way later after they've delivered it, like you know 5-6 minutes later, and they'll take it from their car. So it just looks like a stalker's photo of my house. Like it's not even, there's no focal point. It's just, it's just, here's where you live. And I'm like, oh God, please tell me you brought me food. You know,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, please.
No, it's okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I do love how, I mean, I know it's kind of like, at this point, it's kind of like a done to death joke, but I do love how when the internet started, it was like, don't meet people from the internet. And then it was like, don't get in cars with strangers. Don't give people from the internet your address. And now it's like, we do that like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
Uber, come pick me up. Hey, bring me my food. Here's my home address. Like,
I know, I guess this hasn't really gone anywhere, and I guess it really wouldn't go anywhere now, especially because of COVID-19. But Amazon was experimenting with potentially like getting people's actual like, uh, I guess keys or whatever to their house,
oh
and
yeah.
like dropping packages inside their house.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was too far. Like, I don't know Amazon delivery person. Please don't. You can't come in my house ever, especially with my cat. But like, yeah. But I'm sure. I mean, if they really pushed at it, that would just be the thing. It's like, of course, the delivery guy comes into your house and leaves the package on.
See, I could see that, especially with a company like Amazon, because they're so vertically integrated. like Amazon could partner with a digital lock company.
Yeah, that's what they'd have to do.
Yeah, so then it could be like, okay, with this year of Prime, you get the lock, and after 2, or maybe like you just have to commit to 2 years worth of Prime, and then you get the lock, you get to keep the lock because that would pay for it, or something like that. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, now people with pets aren't going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
For the most, I mean, with cats, maybe if you have a cat that doesn't like to run out, but definitely not dogs. No, sir. I mean, and not even because the dogs are going to hurt them or run away, just because the poor delivery person would be so scared. I mean, Henwolf appears like she wants to murder the mailman, and all she wants to do is meet him. It's just that, like, this guy keeps passing by and never pets her, never says hello. She's so friendly. When people walk by and don't pet her, she like follows them with her eyes. She's just like, where you go? Yeah. In fact, I was actually reading an article a couple of days ago about pets being depressed from COVID because strangers don't pet them as much anymore.
Oh,
I know, right?
Gigs usually just gets pet by me anyway, so I don't feel as bad. Oh,
Yeah,
she went
cats.
to the doctor, so you got pets from other people. Yay, she's not depressed anymore.
You didn't tell. I mean, I know that it went well, right? Her vet visit. We didn't talk about it at length.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about it?
I don't know. I mean, do we need to talk right now? Please tell me how did Giggs's vet appointment go? Because I know you were a little nervous because it had been a while.
Yeah. I'm scared of all doctors, including vets. Because I don't want her to die, but that's a really bad reason not to go to the vet.
Yeah, it's like I've known people like that. I have to explain to them, like, you understand that, like, that's not what causes you to die, right?
Yeah.
It's their diagnosis is not created by them.
Yeah, but then
That's true. Then
but then you still die. But it was fine, sort of. I don't like the whole I can't go inside with her deal.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either.
It was just super weird, and my vet is like real nice, and the office is really nice and everything. So it was fine. It was as good as it could have been, but it's just weird. And I just felt bad because she's snoring a little. Because she'd be all alone with people who want to give her shots and stuff, and that sounds scary.
See, Henwolf loves the vet. She is so excited, and when she, like, after she gets her vaccination, she still looks all happy. She like comes back from the back room and she's like, oh boy. I'm like, man, you're weird, dude. Yeah. See, I've unlike you, I've lived at the veterinary office this year because Henwolf had a surgery.
Yeah.
And then immediately following that, Chicano had a surgery. Although his was much more minor. His was just a teeth cleaning, but it's still technically a surgery because they extract stuff and put them under and everything like that. But yesterday I had a pretty rough day, and one of the reasons was that I had booked a checkup and a vaccine update for Henwolf, and I showed up and they didn't know they didn't have it written down. But I had text messaged with their official text system, and they said, how about this date? And I said, sounds great, confirmed. And then they just didn't have it anymore. I'm proud of myself because I kept I was really upset, and I kept it to myself with the people at the veterinary office because they don't deserve to be chastised. Like, people make mistakes. It's part of my life that it was so inconvenient for me that it upset me so much. It's not their fault that it upset me so much. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, your reaction isn't their fault, but it is their fault. I mean, It was a mistake, obviously, because no one does that on purpose. That would be terrible business. But it is their fault.
Oh yeah, and I was owed an apology, and I was given one. They were very, very good about that. So you better fucking believe it. Weird. I'm weird. Don't listen to me anymore. But no, they apologized. But then, of course, the thing that made me really mad was they were like, we're really sorry about that, but if you want to wait, as soon as a doctor's available, we'll get her in. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, when do you think that'll be? And they're like, we don't know. And I'm like, well, I can't just sit in your fucking parking lot indefinitely.
Yeah.
Plus, I was a little annoyed because she needs a checkup. You know, she's
Mhm.
an older dog and it's her checkup, and she's been chewing on her paw more than usual. Maybe it seems like it's okay, but I had stuff I wanted to talk to them about. And it's hard enough when you're not allowed to be in the examining room anymore.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want you to give me the doctor that just happens to have a minute. I want the doctor that usually sees her,
Yeah.
please. So they were like, okay, well, we can see you on October 1st. I was like, fine, fine.
Yeah, it's really tough when I know that like I mean my gigs has just a vet and it's always the same vet
Yeah.
person, but when I when I lived in Plainsboro with my family, our cats, then we just kind of have a practice and like first we had a vet we liked, but then she left and that vet was kind of I guess terrible to their veterinarians because they just leave constantly.
Mm,
So it ended up just being kind of a revolving door, and then it was like we don't even know who we like anymore. So it would just be kind of like whoever's available would see them, and things happened. Like poor Xander probably had like eye cancer, and they were just kind of shitty, and they didn't realize. Like they thought that he had an eye infection.
mm.
So and that it was just like terrible care. So yeah, you want to see the person that normally sees you and knows your dog.
Yeah, and I mean, because I go to a veterinary hospital, so they have 10 doctors on staff, 10 veterinarians on staff, and I have one vet that generally always sees Henwolf and one vet that generally always sees Chicano. It just kind of worked out that way that they're different vets.
Yeah.
So because I adopted them both from rescues, and the way rescues work is they have like like you have to have a veterinary checkup within a certain amount of time after you adopt them. So
Hmm.
Chicano ended up with a different doctor because I just took the first one they had. I
Right.
was just because I needed to get him seen right away. So I called on a Monday and I was like, how soon can you get him in? They were like, oh, Thursday with so and so. And I was like, okay.
Hmm.
I mean, like, let's do
Yeah.
it. So, and he's a super nice guy, the doctor who sees Chicano. And the lady who handles Henwolf is really great too. She did the surgery and everything.
Cool.
Chicano's vet is not a surgeon. So when Chicano had his teeth cleaned, they had to use a different doctor. But
Mm.
I know, right? He should have studied harder.
Yeah.
Very disappointed.
Yeah, me
Uh,
too.
but no, yeah, so I don't know. So that was pretty frustrating. I didn't even mean to talk about the vet today, but I wanted to hear how Giggs's went because I knew you were nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's got some little things that are going on with her, but nothing's new. That's, and nothing is dangerous that could like kill her or anything. She just has a weird eye and it gets stuff in it and I have cream for it kind of deal. But my vet also said like she's not really sure. It could be that the tear ducts were affected from losing her part of her face
Mhm.
and that's what's going on, or she could even have like seasonal allergies.
Oh, yeah.
So she wasn't super concerned.
You must love the cat. Must love having cream put on her eye.
She doesn't like that.
Really?
No, she loves it. What she hated most was just going to and from the vet, honestly.
Yeah.
So she just cried the whole time. And I tried to talk to her, and then I was like, what do you want me to talk to you about? Like, I'll just pick a topic and we can discuss it like we normally do. But then she just kept crying. So I was like, okay, we don't have to discuss any sort of weird, like, what this. I don't remember. I don't know what I was trying to tell her about. I think I was like just gonna like start telling her about directions and stuff because I think I said like this is Garrett Road, this road, and then she just started complaining. I was like, let's not. We don't have to talk about Garrett Road.
See, I'm lucky with dogs. I luck out that both of them absolutely adore going out in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I already take them with me. Like if I go to a drive-through or if I go to the post office to drop something off really fast or whatever, I just always have them in the back seat because they love it.
So nice.
I mean, I literally, if I say want to go for RIDE, I can't even say it out loud in my own home. But if I say it, like they start barking and jumping around, and it's cute. But they both weigh between 50 and 65 pounds, So it's a little scary when they start flinging themselves around like they're so excited.
Yeah.
It's also funny because I'll be like, come on, get on the couch with me. And they'll like take forever and like be all slow because it's like, I'm an old dog. But then if I say, let's get in the car, they're just like bouncing around and punching me in the testicles and just like, I wish I was joking, but Henwolf will jump up and whack you with a paw. And she's hit me in the balls once or twice and it hurt. It's cute, but also very, very painful. So, I mean, that's the one thing about the vet that I'm glad is the case for me. Cause like, my mother has, 2 Shih Tzus and an English Bulldog. English Bulldog, he likes being in the car. The older Shih Tzu, pretty cool with being in the car. Youngest Shih Tzu has to be doped up to be in the car. Cannot stand, doesn't like the vet either. So, cause like, Henwolf loves the vet. I mean, just everything about going to the vet, she loves. She loves getting handed off to the veterinary tech. She's like prances up to the door, looks all happy. Chicano is a bit more apprehensive, and he's definitely much happier to see me at the end of the vet visit. Like he definitely is more like, oh, thank God. Okay, let's go back to you. As to where Henwolf's like, oh, hey, you're back. Let's go. Like, you know, she's just like has a good time with whatever she's doing. So yeah, and when, you know, the world was normal, Chicano would definitely like in the waiting room be a lot more nervous. Henwolf is just like wherever she goes, that's where she is. I don't know how else to describe it. She's just that's her personality. So,
Geeks is kind of like that too. She just hates being in the car.
Yeah.
So like, especially when the car is moving.
Yeah.
So, I wish that she was. I'm sorry, she's awake, but maybe she won't understand this. I wish that she liked cars because she's totally cool with like just being places, and she like I'm sure she was a little bit stressed out at the vet, but like they just told me how nice she was and all this stuff. So she does a good job, but I'd love to like take her places if she wasn't so scared of the car.
Cats don't seem to be into that in general. So, I mean, from my understanding, as to where dogs, it's a little more common for them to be into going lots of places.
Yeah.
It's funny because they also my dogs also take a totally different tact in the car. Henwolf sits up in her spot and like holds herself and steady. So like if the car adjusts, she like adjusts along with the car. And Chicano just like hangs out, and if he gets tired of like the movement, he just lays down. So that he doesn't have to deal with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, they're very, very different dogs in that way. Chicano is a lot more chill in general, which is interesting because he's more anxious in some ways. But but he really will just like lay down and go to sleep in the car. Because for my birthday, we went out to a cabin for the day, and it was 2 hours away, and took the dogs. And Chicano just took naps on the seat, and then he tucked himself under the back seat on the floor and started napping down there, which was really cute. Meanwhile, Henwolf just sat up straight looking out the window the entire 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, they were exhausted after like all that travel, and then getting to smell all these new outdoors areas, and then going into a new indoor area and smelling all of that. They were just like so tired. They were like just falling asleep, you know, immediately. Of course, they do that when there's no excitement in their day too. They're like, all right, time to sleep for 18 hours on and off. I mean, not straight. So I guess I you know, this is as good a forum as any to complain about the fact that Henwolf is a spoiled butthead and she won't sleep on her new bed.
She just has to get used to it. She'll get used to it.
I pray that you are right, because so Henwolf is an older female dog, and she's been spayed and everything, obviously. So sometimes she leaks a little when she sleeps. Well, about a week and a half ago, she got sick to her stomach, and I believe because she got into something she wasn't supposed to, and I believe that caused her to just pee herself in her sleep. I mean, stuff happens because she has very few accidents, and they're usually like, you know, you dab it with a paper towel and spray a little of that pet enzyme crap on it, and it's done. It's like a little, you know, spots.
Yeah.
But this time it was like soaked, and the bed was almost 2 years old, which is pretty old to have a dog bed. So, according to the people I talked to, that were not selling dog beds. But so, you know, so she had her little accident, and I was like, you know, we may as well just go get her a new bed. So I go and I pick her up a new bed, and she really hated it. It was a little on the small side for her. I guess I misestimated. So I returned it. I bought her the biggest dog bed there is, which I knew would be perfect size for her. Super comfy, very similar to the bed she used to have. Not the most recent one, but her first bed when I first adopted her. Because the most recent bed was bought by my mother, who spent well over $100 on a dog bed because my mother is opulent. And so I'm praying that I'm wrong, because my guesstimate, my assumption, my instinct is that Henwolf just doesn't want to sleep on this bed because it doesn't have all the fancy cushioning and stuff. It's still an orthopedic bed. It costs $60, like she should. But the last few nights I've been waking up and stuff, and she's not laying on her bed. She's laying on the floor by the bed. So, sorry, say something, please.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, okay, so let's look at this from a different perspective. Yes, she may be very ungrateful, but if you had a bed, like, do you like your bed, right?
I do.
Like your bed? And you used to have a bed you didn't like as much, right?
Okay.
But you slept in it and it was fine. And then you got this nice bed now that's really nice. Would you, and if like something bad happened to this bed and someone was like, here you go, here's the old kind of bed that you used to have that's a futon, would you like this? How would you feel?
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, that would be annoying, but I wouldn't like protest it by sleeping on the wood floor instead.
Are you sure?
Yes. I that's a good point, but it's just, well, the worst part is, yes, I can be cheap, but to be honest, I went to Petco where I bought the bed that my mother insisted, she pay for the first time, and they didn't have the extra large, which is the size Henwolf needs. I would have totally dropped $130 on another bed, just like her old one, to make her happy. I just couldn't at the time. I'm going to give it the weekend.
Okay.
And I took some advice. I did some research, and people were saying that like it may just not smell right to her.
Yeah.
So I wore like a t-shirt for a day and slept in it, and then took the t-shirt off and laid it on the bed. She does sleep on it for briefly, and then she'll go lay on the floor instead, or lay in Chicano's bed, which is weird because that bed's less nice than even the one she's sleeping in now. In fact, that Chicano's bed is actually her last bed before the fancy bed, because when I got the fancy bed, I just set both beds down and Henwolf immediately started sleeping on the fancy bed, and that was the end of the thing, which is why I'm worried it's not the smell, because every other bed I ever gave her, she just started sleeping on. So, man, but like, it's extra difficult because then it's like Henrik, she can't really know the difference. I'm like, I don't know, because she's like really freaking smart. Which is like the best and worst part of Henwolf, is that she is so smart. I mean, she can open the trash can. I have to lock the lid of the trash can down because she can step on the pedal and get to the. Dude, I watched, when I was adopting her, I watched her open a baby gate.
Yeah.
No, process that. She opened a baby gate. With her big dumb dog face, she friggin' opened a baby gate. She's like Houdini. So I just hope that she'll appreciate this dog bed, but I'm almost frustrated enough to just return this dog bed, because I got it on Amazon, which means it's easy to return. Part of me is like, I'm just going to return this dog bed and go to Petco and be like, do you have any more of these beds in yet? For God's sake, please take my $130 that I don't have for dog bed expenditure.
Oh.
Like, I just want my dog to be happy.
Well, I think eventually she'll probably get used to it, even if it's not up to the standard that she had before. She'll just she can look back on that time of her life fondly as the time she had the nice bed.
Well, Wolfie's history is kind of tricky too, because like when I first got her, she actually had to have her bed anywhere she was hanging out, because she was so overweight. Laying on the floor hurt her, like hurt her hip and hurt her shoulder, so she couldn't sleep on just the floor by the couch, which
Yeah.
now is like her favorite nap spot is, the floor by the couch.
Good.
So it's just worse because I have bamboo floors in my bedroom. So like that's not cozy. Although Chicano sleeps half the night on them too, but I believe that's because he's hot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so because in the winter he doesn't do that, but in the spring, summer, and even the fall, like literally as soon as I lay down to go to bed, I'll hear him get up off his bed. This is my life. When it's time to go to sleep, I take the dogs out. And then when we come back in, I start clapping my hands and go, time to go to bed, time to go to bed. And they just march ahead of me into the bedroom and lay on their
Aww.
beds while I brush my teeth.
Aww.
Sometimes Hen Wolf will come back and be like, where are you? Because I'm brushing my teeth. I'm like, and I'll literally be like, go bed. And she'll be like, all right. And she'll turn around and go back into the room and lay on her bed. And then the moment I walk into my bedroom, I close my bedroom door because I'm paranoid. I don't want them, because especially Hen Wolf, I don't want her to get into anything. So just to be safe, I keep us all closed in there. And originally that was actually more about Chicano, because when I first got him, he'd wander the house at night.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was afraid that he had dementia.
Yeah.
Because dogs with dementia do that, but he was just nervous, so he would
Yeah.
just wander the house. So I closed the door to try to get him to understand, like, no, we all sleep in one space together, and that's how we keep each other. Trying to make him feel like we have a pack. And it worked. I mean, now he doesn't like to. It's very rare that he wants to go nap in the entire other room.
Yeah.
He wants to be near all of us. But the moment I close the door and the moment I hop on my bed, I hear his little paws click clack on the floor, and he goes and lays by the door where it's cool on the floor.
Oh.
But then usually by the time I'm starting to fall asleep, I'll actually see him wander back over to his bed and lay on his bed.
Yeah, so maybe he gets hot and then he gets too cool and he goes back to his bed. Yeah.
Well, when I first got Chicano, the weirdest thing was when they both had their beds and they'd both chosen their beds. For the first week or two, I would wake up and they would be in opposite beds. Like they kept trading, because that's the funny thing. I was reading about, the weird smell of the dog bed can affect how they, feel about laying on it. And I was like, that's so weird. And then they were like, because they like the bed to smell like them. That way it's like, this is my bed, like stay away. And I was like, that's not how Hen Wolf is at all. She just let him start sleeping on her old bed the moment he got here. And like, she's not protective of her crate either, which is, her big cozy spot. Not protective of it at all. Chicano's walked in there once or twice and she could give a crap. So it's weird that she's not protective of that stuff at all. And I was told she would be. So I don't know. I mean, when he was first here, she was, protective of literally everything. She'd be like, why are you walking over there? What are you smelling? I'll kill you, because new dog. That was a long 2 weeks of keeping them apart, but in the same house.
Yeah.
They had told me I needed to do it for almost a month and a half.
I remember.
After 2 weeks, I was like, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We just got to see if they kill each other. Each other. If Hen Wolf kills Chicano, she heard me talking about her now. She's in the room. I like how I say that, like there's a possibility that Chicano would kill Hen Wolf. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. But hopefully Wolfie's okay. I mean, I think health-wise, she's got to be doing pretty good, because, I mean, she just had surgery like 2 months ago, and she recovered beautifully.
Good.
Her fur's still growing in on her butt. There's still like a bare patch on her butt that's slowly but surely filling in. So hopefully that'll be good. I mean, soon her winter coat will come in, and then that'll be gone. So, and then I'll have to vacuum 2 to 3 times a week instead of on Fridays.
Yay.
Oh, there's nothing beats the satisfaction of taking the canister out of your vacuum cleaner and it being full all the way up with dog hair, and then going outside and like dumping it into the dumpster and being like, look at all that dog hair that was on the floors. Oh God. Mountain dogs, man. Mountain dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, Gigs sheds because she's a cat, but she's small.
Yeah, but she also like has, I guess, shedding cycles where she's like not a really like shed-y cat. So normally like she doesn't lose a whole lot of hair, and if I brush her, which I can't do because she tries to eat the brush, she like not a lot of hair comes off, but then like twice a year, like I'll just touch her and just like all of her hair is just all over the place. So yeah, that's fun. And I just find it places, on me, on the floor. I
Yeah.
slip on it in the kitchen. This little,
I slip on dog hair in the kitchen.
yeah.
My favorite is when I snuggle on the couch and forget, and then I'm completely covered from head to toe in dog hair.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just life.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
yesterday I was on the couch with her, and I think that was yesterday, and I think that was the couch. Um but I was like cuddling with her, and I got like my hands were like, one of them was like under her head because she likes to use it as a pillow, and the other one was like petting her,
Mhm.
and I couldn't move them, but I had like cat hair like in my eyes. So that was fun.
That's good. It's good. That's good though. That's like a test of your everything, your resiliency, your resolve. Because you have to know what's really important, which is you pet that cat.
Yeah.
See, I like that. That's one of my favorite differences between dogs and cats is like, it's like, I don't want to move. She's comfortable. I'll just move. The dog will look at me like, what the hell? And I'll be like, you still love me. And the dog will be like, yeah. Like, I'll just accept however you changed your position and keep petting you,
Oh.
or keep letting you pet me rather. Yeah. It's dogs are fun. Although sometimes Henwolf looks at me like, wow, fuck you. Because I did something. It finally stopped after over a year of owning him. For the longest time, every time I sneezed, Chicano just looked at me like I kicked him in his non-existent testicles. But I mean, like, he would seriously like give me a death glare, like whether he was asleep or awake or whatever. I'd be like, chew, and he'd just look at me like, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, I sneezed. Now he just like lifts his head up and goes back down. So now he doesn't give me a death glare anymore.
Maybe he thought you were like yelling at him or something.
I mean, that could be. Unfortunately, I think that happened a lot in his old life. But he definitely just reacts like, the fuck you say? Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, yeah, he has a resting anger face. He has the resting, we like to call it resting husky face.
Okay.
Just because huskies, yeah, they're huskies. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, me too.
They own me. I don't know none, that's for sure. Well, I should end with like that really like maudlin like cliche of like, I thought I was rescuing them, but they were really rescuing me. But that's not true because I'm still spending hundreds of dollars on them. So I rescued them, and there's no argument about that.
Okay.
Okay?
I mean, I have an argument, but you don't have
Oh,
to.
go ahead. Go on. Try me.
Okay, so in the thing it doesn't specify how they rescued you, and I'm sure that they meant on an emotional or spiritual level that the dogs rescued you from your own personal hell, even though you thought you were rescuing them from hell.
False. Henwolf was fat and sad. I made her thin and happy. Chicano was scared. I made him vaguely less scared. I saved them.
Okay.
Argument over.